Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 0 of Tilt Proof, Division One's weekly little show, podcasty type thing to help run down the week, give you guys the info on the matches to come, and in this case, the entire season to come. My name is Ancient Angel. I'm going to be your host for week 1. Joined by me is Nerds, Casts, Infernosis, and Alk Battery. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to give you guys a little chance here to introduce yourselves and some of your background. So you want to let's start with Nerds.
Hello, my name is Nerdscast. I am currently a VCL caster. Yippee! I can't believe I got on that show. It was a huge honor this year. And more than that, that immense honor of just being able to represent Tier 2 North America. I do interviews for Tier 1 North American Valorant, and I'm starting to get my feet wet into the international scene, starting off with Masters Toronto, considering it was an international in North America. And that's my background within esports, currently doing Champs Paris. So yippee, waking up at super early in the morning, 6 a.m. But other than that, other than that, I commentate, I have fun, and I mean, I don't know how much do I get into my personal background, shrug, casting background,
It's gonna be really funny if you have this 10-minute segment and it all just gets cut. And it's
No,
just
I'm
your
not.
name, and then we
True,
move on.
true. I don't know how long we
Well,
going for this, so we'll
Speaking
pass it on.
of, yeah, let's pass it on. That's one of our 2 Val contributors for the day. The other one being Infernosis. Infernosis, you wanna take the floor here?
Hi, I'm Scott. You guys can call me that. Infernosis is kind of a mouthful. Scott's pretty short, sweet, simple to the point. I did CVAL 2 years now in a row. I've been the head analyst or the side analyst for the side for our death segments and a caster for our lead-in to this last season. And as for everything else, that's all I really need to hand out. So that's all I'm going to hand out. I'll pass it off as quick as I can.
Perfect. That's awesome. Good.
Here's my
hi guys.
social security.
My social security
I'm the only lead contributor for this week. Hopefully we'll have some more of the gang joining us later on for a couple episodes. I'm Dimitri, otherwise Alk Online. I'm currently on LPL English, so I'm helping cover Tier 1 over in China for League of Legends. And comparatively to collegiate, I've been on some form of official or unofficial collegiate League of Legends broadcast for the last almost 4 or 5 years. So I've been really tapped in.
Yeah, and just quick little, I mentioned my name, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit more because I love talking about myself. My name is Ancient Angel. I've been bouncing around the Valorant scene for a while, doing Tier 3, a little bit of stuff over in Project Horizon, which is basically for the league people, that's LPL, but for Valorant. And I've been doing that, which is the English cast. I've been doing a lot of stuff in the GC scene and also collegiate. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us and staying with us through all these intros. Let's talk for a quick second about Division One, which is a collegiate league. And we're going to kind of bring this to a broad subject, which is just the state of collegiate for both Valorant and League of Legends. Division One conference for both of those games. So I'm going to kind of let Infernosis talk about Valorant. Scott, if you want to kind of just give us roughly where collegiate's at in the landscape of Valorant esports as a whole.
A damn good spot. I mean, brutally honest with you, when you compare it to other esports, it's sitting in a much prettier position than a lot of other titles have been. R6 has fallen off in a lot. Rocket League is on a big surge ever since, the pandemic and being a great game for people to kind of jump into. But you've got games like, sorry to say this here, Alk, League of Legends, that's kind of been a bit iffy. I'm sure you'll touch on that in a second. And other titles like that, right? Valorant is in a ridiculously good spot. It is the prime FPS shooter to get into, and every other title that's tried to compete with it has either had waves and droves of talent and players stepping in and out of it. But I think Valorant has had a very good spot and has stayed very stable, if not rising consistently.
That sounds about right. At least from what I know about Valorant and kind of being on the opposite side of the Riot Games ecosystem. State of collegiate, I would say in general, is feeling some contractions. I'll try to leave out a lot of the larger subtext, but the current administration for the past couple of years has made it a little bit difficult for higher ups at collegiate institutions to really keep around esports programs. I know NC State recently was announcing some things. I know Illinois State University as well with the Redbirds. The big problem has been ever since Riot officially moved away from holding on to CLOL and moving it towards third-party tournament organizers. It saves them money in the short term, but the way that there is the loss of endemic knowledge because we have tournament organizers who've been running this for years, and the loss of all of that knowledge and information has led to, I think, some damage to the reputation. And the last couple of years, we've also had troubles with, honestly, just championship stuff. Just the year before, we had the championship go out to St. Louis, but then they have to buy their own trophy, and that used to not necessarily be a problem. So that became an issue. We had the loss of the official broadcast 2 years ago, which also was a kind of a big talking point. So on the league side, it's not looking too good. I am looking over at those greener pastures over on Valorant and hoping that better days do come soon. But I think it is still running pretty strong with how popular League of Legends is, I think, from a global and I think a public side.
All right. So is Division One like filling the gap that has kind of been left in some of the places for collegiate? So I think roughly, I mean, Scott seems very, very willing to take this question. So I'm going to give Scott the floor, and then we can do the Scott Alk thing, and Alk can kind of talk about League of Legends and what this means for League.
No. Is that good? Is this the answer we're going for? There's a million leagues. There's a million leagues. But the thing is, we're trying to do something different with this and trying to create something that will fill the gap that doesn't necessarily exist, but kind of takes up the priority, right, for people to want to step into, for teams to want to step into, for people to be able to check out player stats all in one location, right? Like, there's not necessarily a gap. There's a lot of leagues out there, but we want to like prove that this can be the best place to do that, which I think is what a lot of people are kind of confused about online on social media. Like, oh, well, here's another league popping up. It doesn't have to be just another league. We want it to be the league, right? This is where priority of esports and the player priority comes in play.
I agree. I was like, okay, it's another NACE, potentially another NECC that a lot of conferences. If you look at it, I think just from the league side, I can't speak to the quality over on Valorant. I think there's a bit of a misshape or like an unbalance in terms of who the top dogs are and who the rest of the teams are going to be. And we can get on to that a little bit later in the show. But the difference for Division One is hopefully, I think the content and the coverage is going to be the big difference maker. And part of that is this kind of podcast, right? Like this kind of content hopefully pushes Div 1 to the forefront when it comes to collegiate partner conferences.
It's just something different. I think at the end of the day, I do think I want to kind of, Scott was saying like it doesn't fill the gap. I think it fills the gap in the content. That's what it does fill in.
Yes.
Is that it doesn't fill in the gap of the competitiveness as well, because like you have so many different things that you could do, but you don't like, I think we have a bit more to it. Like we're going to be doing predictions. We're going to be trying to tie in a lot of storylines. At least something that I really wanted to focus on was like making sure we have storylines, something that I think Slade, the person who founded it, was talked about us in the meeting. Like, let's have different like tales, right? Like if someone is, an underdog and they're starting to improve, having players from that, like Kess, who started off in Longhorn Gaming, I always meme about it every time I meet him, and having other players in Tier 1 coming from collegiate, I think that telling their stories now here, so then when they do get to Tier 1 or they do make it into challenge or something like that, we have that basis for people.
Yeah, and I think, we've talked about the content. I want to kind of mention this other point, which I actually want to give a lot of credit to the esports directors of the colleges that have decided to compete this year in Division One, which is, it's been very, very clear that the players are expected to be a part of this. So it's not just going to be us as casters and like the social media people just kind of like rambling on their own on Twitter and on broadcasts about things. Like players are expected to do interviews. Players are going to be.
Oh my God.
I don't remember which.
We're going to have a media day.
There was like a college that actually tweeted out like their players taking pictures for Division One, because there's a website. There's a Division One website, and all the stats are going to be there, and there's player profiles for all of these players. That's enough about Division One and all of the goodness that we think it brings, and some of the shortcomings of the fact that, it's a collegiate league. Who would have guessed? Let's talk about these teams, right? Because there's 8 of them per game, right? 8 colleges each have their teams submitted for Valorant and League of Legends. I want to kind of talk to you guys about what these games are going to individually look like, right? Where we're expecting standings to be. Obviously, I feel like Scott, Nerds, and I could go and talk for like 2 hours minimum about.
I will fight Nerds in a couple opinions, but we'll get to it.
I want to actually start. I want to kind of give Alk the soapbox here to talk about league and all of the standings and the things that we should be expecting for this season. Because for those coming into this with either like a middling kind of knowledge of the collegiate league scene or like an advanced knowledge, everyone kind of knows that it's Maryville, everyone else underneath them. So my question is, how far ahead in league is Maryville? Do you see anyone catching up to them? And then for some of those underdog teams, what are you kind of looking for throughout the season?
Yeah, so Maryville most recently did just win CLOL and CVAL, which I think is really, really impressive and speaks to the program that they have built there for years. They've just the infrastructure that Clerky and the rest of the guys over there have done just makes it like kind of the school that I think a lot of players that if you're looking to potentially breach into collegiate esports, that is a really big name that I think should be on your radar. But years before, Maryville weren't as dominant. They would make top 4, they'd make top 8, which is great. But when you're talking about a program like Maryville, top 2, top 1 is basically the expectation. And here in Div 1, I don't think they really have much competition outside of maybe Winthrop, but even Winthrop has shown repeatedly, whether it's in collegiate esports or in tier 2 over in the NACL, where we're kind of playing against similar rosters, that Maryville very handedly have the matchup. Now, the thing that's interesting with Maryville this year is they're undergoing a pretty massive rebuild. Their top laner, Zamudo, just recently got signed. Well, was supposed to go to Lion, now is playing with Isurus down in the LRN, which is basically one of the South American leagues. They're also bringing in a new jungler. They had Shimmer for their championship run, but we're kind of bouncing back between having another player in Kryra. Now they're playing with former ISU jungler Music, who was doing okay in the NACL as well. The biggest thing for Maryville is that they're bringing back Scary Jerry, who had just recently competed in the LTA Tier 1 division. I still expect Maryville to be the best team and potentially the best program here. I don't know how our Valorant, I know we were kind of talking about before the show whether or not that'll end up happening, but yeah, I still expect Maryville to really uphold the legacy of what this program and what being at MU means.
I think that gives us a pretty clear idea of Maryville and the fact that it's Maryville, everyone else, and maybe we'll see something from St. Clair or
I don't know, man.
Ohio State, maybe.
Nah, give me
But
Stony Brook.
I don't think Ohio State's not doing anything, guys. Like it's literally it's Maryville, it's Winthrop, and then like everybody else is battling for 3rd through 8th. Like 3rd through 5th.
Okay.
I think that for bottom of the league, it's probably going to be Boise State. They're here they're going to get paid in exposure and experience.
I'm gonna kind of posit this, and I want to hear my two other Valorant people's reaction to this. In my mind, right now, it's Maryville and Winthrop, tier break, St. Clair and West Virginia, tier break, everybody else.
I don't know, man. I like Stony Brook's got the Seawolves, and that's a funny name. But you're right. I'm not gonna go into a bit. I'm just gonna actually do a logical point and say, pretty much, the argument of placing Maryville or Boise, they were together on the sheet. Maryville and Winthrop and like I said, you said St. Clair and West Virginia is one that would be interesting. I would make one argument though. You can maybe say St. Clair could contend with Maryville and Winthrop on a good day. It's like one of those like on any given Saturday kind of vibe that we see. But I know Scott just exhaled, so I want to hear your opinions. I'll pass to you.
All right, so we have to look at the rosters, right? This is kind of the big one. St. Clair brought in both JP and Waddy from Cumberland, and that team already was ridiculously talented. They basically were this new up-and-coming program that were just tearing apart teams, and then basically all their players got poached, right? Like, not just poached by other collegiate reporters, right? They also got poached to Furia. They got poached to 2Game Esports. They're playing in the EWC, right? These are players that are unbelievably talented. St. Clair has every single right to play up against Winthrop and against Maryville. Can they do it? I don't know. That's going to be a big question for them. But then you look at West Virginia. They won CVAL South. They were the team that already had beaten that Cumberland roster that had that player of JP and Waddy, right? So you're looking at this and saying, this is also a team that can compete and has put maps on against both Maryville and Winthrop. can they do a full 3? That's always been their problem. And with the lack of players now, or new players stepping in, that's going to be the bigger question for those Final Four teams. Do they have the, I don't know if y'all know, like college football or NFL, the Cam Newton that takes a nobody Auburn team and gives them a national championship and then jumps to the NFL and brings them to the Super Bowl in 1 year, right? Like, are these new players going to be enough to take down those really important players? You look at Winthrop, like Infiltrator's probably the best duelist in collegiate and one of the best duelists in the world right now, in my opinion. He's just so talented. He's going to get signed to go pro. Are they capable of able to shut that down and isolate those kind of players? And yeah, I think there is a big tier break between 1 and 4 down to the bottom 4. But I do think the margin between 1, 2, 3, and 4 is close enough to not say it's a tier break. Any good day for them could probably have them beat them.
All right. I'm gonna say this, and then maybe I'll let people respond to this, and then we're gonna move on, because I'm gonna say my piece about St. Clair. I've been watching St. Clair for years, roster after roster, and the second that you think that they're good, the second that you think they're gonna do something, like you mentioned, they get poached. A player leaves, they go get signed to a different org. St. Clair, when they did this challengers run back, it was like the last year that Knights ran. It's like January of 2023, I want to say. It was either 2023 or 2024. It was that January open qualifier when they were on that run, and they ended up getting knocked out by Blinn, because that's when Blinn was like on their come up, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, St. Clair can do it. And then that was like the one run that they had where they almost made challengers for like the one time ever. And then they never beat anybody again unless it was collegiate. And that's exactly what's happened. And so then St. Clair has just been this team in my mind where they're great in collegiate and then they don't do anything else. And then even then recently, I just haven't heard of them.
You know what? I'm not gonna respond to this. This felt less like a discussion topic and more like you just really needed someone to hear
needed
it.
to get this off of my chest.
To get it off your chest.
Every time I believe in St. Clair, they disappear. They literally don't exist. They're these Canadians and they just vanish from my eyes, and I've been begging for them to do something.
To the snow, bro.
This is your chance. Do it.
I mean, they've had the team behind them, though, for like years, ever since their big championship run. They've had the team, and they just have stuck to the wrong problems. I think this is their year. They're a dark horse, but they're a top 4 team, so they're hardly dark horse.
If we have a dark horse, I don't think St. Clair's a dark horse.
I think West Virginia.
My
West
dark
Virginia
horse,
is absolutely a dark horse.
My dark horse is going to be the Boise State, because they have Daimyo, and his TikToks are funny, and I'm here for vibes.
I'm just excited for when Maryville plays St. Clair, and then Giza's just gonna start talking.
Oh,
and he's not gonna stop talking.
There's your storyline,
dude.
I love Giza.
Boom.
He's so funny in person, by the way. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Can I collect this Maryville paycheck, by the way? Because we just spent 15 minutes glazing the hell out of them for no reason.
Actually,
Clerky, Dan?
We talk about Maryville so much. We could talk about Moob. Like, you talk about Moobs a bit. Moobs has also been a player to like watch, as he's like he's the anchor, right? The Senti player, VLR. Senti Smoke. Yeah. Because I remember, because Infiltrator, literally in the name, plays the fucking coolest. Ollie, Flex Master. Flair is also flexing. Nashi's mainly the initiator, whether it's info or flash, and then Moobs is mainly like they have 3 people on main roles, and Ollie and Flair have kind of been flexing based on the like double smokes, double Senti, double duelists, whatever comp they're running.
I don't want you to be silent any longer. We're kind of talking about players, storylines. We talked about Scary Jerry a little bit. I want to give you the opportunity. If there's any other players that have had really interesting storylines that you want to highlight coming into this season or this semester for Division One.
Mm-hmm. Winthrop, I think, is interesting because at least according to the starting roster, it seems like they're going to be trying Rapid. Rapid has been at the college for a pretty long time now, at least for a couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what this team looks like with the new jungler, losing Wilson, who has been a big part of the program for the past couple of years. And now that they brought in only 35 from the Turkish leagues, I think another full year with this roster and kind of seeing what the ceiling is going to be might be interesting. For St. Clair, they are moving Maddie into a coaching position. Now it's unsure, at least from what we have on our documents, about whether or not who is starting in the jungle, but they also brought back Alonzo, who is a big part of their staff, as well as playing support for them. So we'll see what that looks like. Aside from that, I'm just excited about some of the teams and individual players. Like Stony Brook have a player in Keetong who's their support. who played in NACL or Academy a really long time ago on Cloud9, but has been kind of floating around as kind of an enchanter support player. OSU or Ohio State, they have Fire, who was on a pretty legendary run a couple of years ago in NACL or in Tier 2 and Tier 3, but has essentially kind of fallen out due to what is speculated and heavily rumored to be attitude issues. He's been someone who has been very outspoken, especially on Twitter and online. So I'm kind of interested to see if he's going to be willing to talk a little bit of trash, because Fire, he's got hands, but he's also got a little bit of a mouth on him. So hopefully he can kind of back it up.
That's your little foray into the season as a whole. Let's try and sharpen the knife here and sharpen our focus into week 1. So let's talk about some of these games, right? We're going to real quick go over the 4 Val matches. We also have 3 League of Legends matches, I think, going on also this week. Or no, it's 4 for each.
We have 4.
Okay.
We got 4 and 4. Yeah.
Real quick, we're going to rapid fire the picks, and then we'll kind of have conversations and debates after. It's really just going to be for League. I'll just explaining to all of us as we all sit here and
hey, look, you guys to talk about Valorant.
Listen,
Exactly.
I got opinions
This is
on
not
League.
our fault we're loaded with Val talent.
Oh yeah.
No, you got to trust me. I'm gonna have opinions on League. I want to make League predictions, and it's gonna be the most accurate I'm gonna eat my own cock. But it's okay.
Why are you backtracking instantly? Just take his mic off. Just take his mic off. Like there's no reason to take their mic off.
All right.
All right. My bad.
So let's talk. And fun fact, something else that's kind of cool. Every week, colleges are playing each other in the same exact games. So that's something that's also kind of interesting. So the 4 matchups this week across both games is Maryville Winthrop, Utah versus Ohio State, Stony Brook versus Boise, and St. Clair versus West Virginia.
Very quickly,
Yeah,
I have OSU over Utah. I have Maryville over Winthrop, St. Clair over West Virginia, and Stony Brook. Every matchup for Boise State is going to be, I think, going into the season, it's double round robin. I think a very good over-under is, can they find a series win? I think if they take a game, that's awesome, but it's the state of like, we're playing like diamond players against a majority masters players. It's tough.
All right.
I will say, I think Stony Brooks is going to beat Boise because Stony Brooks have Seawolves, and that's a way cooler mascot. So I'm going to agree with that.
Cut their mic.
Yeah, we're done with this one, guys. Like yeah.
I'm trying to add some more je ne sais quoi to the League of Legends section.
We just keep you quiet at the corner. It's okay.
All right. Anyways, I want to start off with, I think, the match of the week for Valorant, which is Maryville Winthrop. It's the first match of Division One Valorant. I want to hear where your guys' heads are at.
I need to check. Are they playing with the Mr. Worldwide? Big surprise governor? Are they playing with?
I don't know if they're playing with Governor.
They'll probably play
That's
with
my
Governor.
real question. Is
They'll
they're playing with
play
Governor? Oh no, he is starter. Peter, no,
Yeah.
Governor. No, I still have to go Maryville for the bit. I think with Governor, it's got it.
I have Winthrop in my predictions winning week 1, and I love the Maryville guys, but
I'm gonna be the one to say Maryville then.
Winthrop have Infiltrator. They've got Moobs, who's still trying to bench like 215 or 315, whatever it was he was talking about, down in Raleigh. Winthrop is a ridiculously talented team. Give me Maryville, 100%.
Moobs, can you
Maryville's
do us like a
taking that
huge
game.
favor if you see this? You say Maryville? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, Maryville.
No, okay. Moves, can you do me a favor? If you win, because I predict Winthrop to win this game. If you win, can you at Scott on Twitter at of you hitting a PB bench? I need to see the
we had this conversation in depth a lot in Raleigh. Like we were waiting for the answer. This was one of the interview questions for him and everything, right? Like we're like, have you done it? He goes, no, I'm getting close. He's working on it. So I'm hoping that in the last 3-4 months that it's gonna hit.
For like an actual like analytical reason, I think Maryville, bar for bar, I actually think their team has better, like, is it weird to say they have some better chemistry in some degree? Right? Like, I think Winthrop to some degree they have like chemistry, they have everything, but I think Maryville is generally like, they not only have the same level, but like they can be slightly better and more flexible when push comes to shove. There is a lot to be said about the roster decisions that both those two teams have. And yeah, my pred's gonna be for Maryville for those like logical reasons. But other than that, let's go Wildfire! Yippee!
Okay. I'm
While
gonna
we're
need a little
here,
help here.
I know
Okay.
I know we were doing a lot of this. I'm just gonna real quick just show my screen. I hope it doesn't get blurred out immediately. That is for Clerky at home. There we go. You got a lot of free press here tonight, so hit my line, hit these other guys' line as well.
Yeah, let me
Let's
get my-
get all
let me
the
get my
boys
cash
paid.
app. Let me get my cash app
your
real
gamer
quick.
tag in the first place. That's what you're supposed to do, so that they can send it to you
Let me get my
anonymously. They just know
PayPal
that
real
you
quick. Let me
need
get my
it.
Oh my
PayPal up.
God. Let's talk really quick about I'm gonna need some help,
Okay.
Scott, because this Utah-Ohio State game.
Goes to Utah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mostly
think
because 3 out of the 5 players follow me on Twitter. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there
I'm
you go.
actually pretty sure
Cloud
they follow
buff.
me.
That's
I think they follow me
crazy.
from Rainbow Six Siege. Like, that's the weirdest part to me. I think they follow me from R6 and not actually from Valorant.
Cloud
So they got some gunners on their team. Will that translate? Undoubtedly no. But I do know that they are actually very talented at Valorant. But the issue for me with Ohio State is it feels like they have a ton of players, and they only have, I think, they have 4 out of their 5 returning, but they have a lot of people sitting on the bench that they're probably going to want to kind of swing in and out to try to get the edge against certain teams. And in week 1, you want to have your roster be very cemented. And I feel like Utah has that overall a lot more than what I would argue Ohio State has. If they have that much extra wiggle room of players, I give it to Utah on the edge.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I ended up predicting Ohio State. But to be fair, that might just be because I saw like a Waldy clip and I was like, this is the truth. Before we get into the last real Valorant debate, Stony Brook, Boise. Where's the head at? Where are we thinking?
Can I pull the nerds?
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to Stony Brook because they have a player named Big Tonka T. So
Yo, wait. I'm gonna say that's going to Boise because I got tired.
We're sleeping. We're sleeping for Stony Brook, Boise. Oh,
Guys, it's not them. I love the guys at Boise, but I don't know anything about Valorant.
Oh yeah.
okay.
We'll call you back. We'll call you back. We'll call you back.
Okay,
We'll call you back.
we'll wake you up. He hit the snooze button on his alarm.
I'm not
All
gonna
right.
lie. I'm gonna say Boise because Daimyo, but I haven't. This is like my first venture into like proper collegiate Valorant, and I'm very excited to like learn about a lot of these teams. So in full honesty, I feel like I'll have better opinions based off like actual analytics the longer the league will go on. But just off rip, I am gonna go for Boise because someone's got to have it. It seems like Alk Batteries Cat thinks that Alk has unfortunately died and is like worried. Like, hey, dude, Dad, you still have to feed me. Like, remember?
This is important. Yeah, no. For the last one, don't dodge the question. Don't dodge the press. For the last game that we have to talk about, it's Valorant. It's St. Clair versus West Virginia. I want to know where the
guys.
Come on,
Okay.
Alk. We gotta know. We got no. We
Guys,
want Alk's opinion.
Please, we need to get someone else on this show who knows me.
not
Okay,
our
but
fault this
listen,
week. Not our
Alk,
fault.
by week 4, I'll be right there with you. Okay, I'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Nice.
But-
We're gonna get a bunch of results-based analysis because one person doesn't know CVal, and I'm the only person on league for this week, guys. Like,
yes.
I was gonna say for the West Virginia St. Clair game, I will say St. Clair. I think is gonna take it, but I think they're gonna take it in 3.
I have
I can
West
get with that.
Virginia taking it. I have West Virginia winning over St.
Ooh.
Clair, and I'll stand on that. I think
You're the
just-
St. Clair believer. What is this?
Whoa! Every time I believe in St. Clair, they let me down. I can't believe in them anymore. I can't do it. I have to go for West Virginia.
I'm so good at rage baiting. The numbers. What do they mean?
At least Excite will do something. At least Gucci will like exist, and I can feel confident that they'll do something.
West Virginia have all 5 of their players from last semester returning, right? And A77 did not play in the tournament they were just in for. Who was that? Was that for? It was Concord College. They did not play A77. I don't know why they put Yearn in, and Yearn did pretty okay. So I still think West Virginia are as good, as talented, if not better than as they were last semester. Guck's one of my favorite players of all time. I swear I've been saying that name now for 8 years, and it's got to get out of my head. It's got to escape at some point. When the heck are you graduating? But St. Clair has JP, and if there's any player I look at for Vice, it's always been JP. They revolutionized Vice in my eyes. I have to give it to St. Clair.
We've done a lot of yapping. Alk is sick of Valorant. He hates Valorant. He wants nothing to
I,
do
it's
with
not
very
that I
boring
hate
for 20 minutes,
Valorant, which, by the way, CS is just a better game. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. CS is just a better game. You guys, like, we've had history to show that this is true. I I like Valorant and all. I mean, this is what happens when we only have one League person, and literally the host is also a Valorant person. Like this.
Yeah. It's okay. Next year when Div 1 adds in Dota, it's going to be a completely different conversation.
They promised me
gonna
R6. What is happening here? What are they just telling every talent a different game?
Dude, wait, so we're not getting Marvel Rivals?
Oh my goodness.
GG guys.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for episode 0 of Tilt Proof. Alec, you want to give any closing remarks as the sole league person?
No, make sure you tune in to Div 1 coming into our starting week. It's really important to have a good start to the season so that the rest of the season can kind of snowball from there. And make sure that you're following Div 1 on all the relevant social media so that you can keep up to date with the league and so that we can get all those player storylines that hopefully get really, really interesting towards the end of playoffs.
Also, follow all of us on our socials so you can actually find out if Moobs ever does hit his PR and prove Scott wrong.
I hope he does.
If St. Clair doesn't let me down, you know, we'll find out. We'll see you all next week. This is tentatively going to be a weekly series every Saturday, so you guys aren't going to want to miss it. I'm not going to want to miss it. We're going to have more people and probably more league people next time.
Hopefully.
So that way,
Fingers crossed, bro. Fingers crossed.
sleeping in a chair. So
listen,
thank
we're doing
you.
recordings on Thursday tentatively, right? And unfortunately, I have gigs on Thursday, so I probably can't make unless they change the dates. Which means we need somebody else besides me in here to throw nerds out the window as much as possible, so that they can't just go off vibes for the entire time. So we need a non-vibes.
Okay, to be
Valorant
fair,
talent in here
to
to
be fair,
counter.
in my
they cannot be
defense,
trusted.
may I plead my case? I'll always provide at least some analytics. I'll provide some analytics. All right.
Your analytics are who the mascot is.
And those are the best kind of analytics. You can't tell me I'm wrong, bro. PRX is winning champs. They got a dinosaur. That stuff's gas.
All right.
Someone has to be the vibe merchant, no?
Yeah. We'll see you all next week. Have a great night.